A very warm good morning to all my students of class 6 standard. Today we are going to do poem, and the name of the poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, written very beautifully by Robert Frost. Robert Frost was a very good poet of thoughts. Okay, we can also say he was also American poet, and he used to write mainly about nature. Robert Frost was much inspired by William Wordsworth, who also used to write about nature. Now this is a very beautiful poem written in 4 stanzas each. Students, kindly open your books and be ready with the books along with the pencils. I will be reading the 4 stanzas each by one by one, and I will be explaining you the summary also of each stanza. Okay, now let us start. Look at the 4th stanza. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Here the speaker thinks about who owns the woods, and that he or she, woods here means forest. She is passing through and is fairly sure of knowing the landowner. He doesn't know whose forest is it, and he was unaware about the landowner. However, the owner's home is far away in the village, and thus he is physically incapable of seeing the speaker pause. Pause means to stop to watch the snowfall in the forest. So he was feeling very liberal, because he was thinking that here landowner is also not there. Nobody is there in the forest, and nobody can taunt me or stop me. Freely I can stand and I can watch the woods. Come to the 2nd stanza. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. Now here the poet wants to tell the speaker thinks his or her horse. Okay, queer means thinking, wandering, must find it strange to stop so far from any signs of civilization. So here the poet is talking about his horse and telling that here the horse is looking at me and looking at the nature and thinking why this particular owner, my owner, is standing all alone in the night and looking at the forest. What happened to him? Indeed, they are surrounded only by the forest and a frozen lake on the longest night of the year. So here, the darkest evening of the year. Students, here we are coming to know about the time. What was the tenure, or what was the time when the poet was watching the forest or the scenario? It was night time. Darkest, and it was the longest day. Okay, longest day and the coldest day, and it was very cold. The full climate was very cold, and it was night time. Okay, my students. Now come to 3rd stanza. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake, or the only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Now here the horse shakes the bell. Harness bells means, okay, just in the neck of the horse we tie some kind of rope or some kind of this thing, and holding that we can climb on the horse and take a ride. That is called as harness bell. The horse shakes the bell on its harness as if asking, and the bell, as if animals cannot speak, the horse was wondering from a long time why my owner is standing at the in the night time and watching the forest, and he wanted to ask a question. So since he cannot speak, he started shaking his harness bell to make a kind of indication. So please come and climb on me and let's take a ride. Please come away. He wants to tell his owner, as if asking if the speaker has made a mistake by stopping. The only other sound besides the ringing of this bell is that of the wind and falling snowflakes. Snowflake means the pieces of snow, in which the speaker listens to the feathers of goose down. That means here the horse is trying to say that there is no sound, there is no such beautiful scenery. So why are you standing and watching the scenery? So please come and let's go from here. Let's move from here. And here in this particular 3rd stanza, the poet is talking about two types of sound. One type of sound was the harness bell made by the horse, and the second one is of the snowy sound, okay, the wind which was passing through the snow. Okay, now come to the fourth and the final stanza, my dear students. Now look at this. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Here the speaker finds the woods very alluring. Alluring means very attractive, okay, very amazing, tempted, drawn both to the darkness and how vast and all encompassing they seem. It was very vast, it was very beautiful, it was very snowy, it was damn beautiful. However, the speaker has obligations. Obligations means some kind of restrictions, rukawat, some kind of restrictions to fulfill elsewhere. So he was having many kinds of responsibility, though he was attracted by the beauty of the nature, beauty of the woods, but at the same time he was aware about his other part of responsibility which he has to fulfill. Thus, though he or she would like to stay and rest, the speaker knows there are many more miles to go before that will be possible. And that was the thing. Yeah, I can take rest if I wanted. The poet is telling us that if I wanted, I would have stood there and watched the particular scenario, but I can't do that because I'm having many responsibilities to fulfill. And if I will not fulfill my own responsibilities, who will fulfill, okay, on my behalf? So everyone has to fulfill their own sets of responsibilities. So this was the fourth stanza and the last stanza I have done with this poem. Students, please read the poem. Try to recite the poem. It's a very beautiful poem written very in a very splendid and melodious manner by none other than Robert Frost. Thank you for watching.